Hi everybody, it's Don Derwin. And after I put my truck back together, I drove it. And this the next day I'm uploading the YouTube. But there's my fish tank. But anyway, this is the next day I drove it. It drives really good. Perfect. Could not be better. But I was watching my videos, and I made 2 videos and I was uploading it. And I noticed one thing that I didn't mention that's very important actually, for the wheel alignment. I mean, it drives good. It drives, going right down the road, and perfect, just like it was driving before. There's no pull or anything. I even got some more wood too last night. But the one thing that I did forget to mention is Trevor. You got AutoZone, which thank God for Trevor. Appreciate that. Rhinelander AutoZone. Told me to put the wheel back together. I mean, put the broken part back together where it was before I do anything, and then measure the total length of it. I'm like, well, that's not going to be very accurate. He said, well, it doesn't have to be perfect, but even a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch or whatever. So I'm like, well, it's all broken apart. How is it supposed to get an accurate measurement? Well, just put it together the best you could, and put it back together to where it was, before I took apart the tie rod. And actually, after I worked on it and put it back together again, if I didn't have that measurement, I would be lost. I mean, totally lost when I put it back together, because that does affect your toe alignment on your truck. I didn't really think too much of it at the time, because I took the measurement first. But that's more important than what the book measurement was also. But yeah, don't forget to take the measurement before you take it apart, because if you don't, your alignment will be screwed up. And mine, what it was, the 15, mine was 15 and a half. And what was confusing me, I went back to us and I asked him, I says, he says you move it one way and it gets tighter, bigger, and you move it the other way, it gets smaller. Well, but you gotta understand is you got to put both ends in about the equal amount. And then it's about 1.5 inches, here. It's about 1.5 inches. Well, here. Let me get my pencil. It's about 1.5 inches here to here. The screw goes in. In this part here, and about 1.5 inches from there to there. And so you gotta screw one end in all the way, like, I screwed this end in all the way to here, because when you unscrew it and you screw it into here at the same time too. And also if you try to put these back together again, mine, it didn't fit. I couldn't get this end in, so I had to unscrew this more yet. Because as you move it, you can actually turn this thing one way. The whole thing will get further, and this end, I mean, this end moves too. It moves this thing. It moves from like here to here, and then it goes move to here. You know, I mean, you could screw this thing all the way over to here probably if you wanted to, and then all the way over to here. You know, this whole thing you could move here. I mean, this whole thing right here, the part that's in the middle, you can actually move it all the way over to here and move it all the way to here. But just get those about equal, and that's what my measurement was. And so I noticed that they were about 1/16. This one was 1/16. You know, this measurement from here to here was like 1/16 one direction, and this one from here to here was 1/16. You know, the measurement from here to here was 1/16 off the other direction. So I noticed that they were both off the proper, you know, I mean, they were both not perfect, and so I'm like, well, I could try to make it perfect, you know, on my first measurement, because mine, you know what I mean, is my 5.5 measurement from here to here. And my other measurement I was just taking from this bolt, the outside of this bolt, just to make it easy with my tape measure. To here it was 5.5, but from the center to center it was 5 3/8 from here to here. So I guess all those measurements are pretty important, you know, before you take it apart. So anyway, hope this video helped you out, and I'm sure it'll work for you. And I did, you know, just put a bunch of grease in there too, and the threads, and yeah, I was thinking too, my I screw this the other way. I'm just gonna put a bunch of, gob it with grease, just gob the whole thing with grease. And then the other side too, my other one, I'm gonna just take a handful of grease and just glob the whole thing on the next one. You know, so maybe try to protect it from rusting. I mean, if it's, because I noticed there's one time I was cleaning up the bottom of my truck, and I was like, oh man, this is really greasy and grimy and yucky. And I was like, you know, because I was painting it or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I was working on it, and I noticed it was nice, perfect. Everything else around the spot where I was cleaning was all rusty. Then the only part that was pristine, you know, perfect, just, you know, no rust. It was like beautiful. It had all kinds of grease and road grime all over it. I'm like, hey, you know what? That's protecting the truck. That's protecting it. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, man. Just glob everything with grease. And so now I've been doing that, you know, some of my older trucks and stuff, brake lines, you know, that's all rusted, just glob them with grease. They shouldn't get any worse. Keep the water off of them, you know. So it's another thing I was doing. You know, if they're globbed with grease, they can't get wet, so they can't rust. You know, so I think I'm gonna do the other one, just put a gob of grease on it, so it won't get any worse, because I wouldn't want the other side to break, you know, that coupler thing. But anyway, hope you liked the video. I know I'm going to put this at the beginning of the video, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and hope this video helps you out. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye. Well, hi everybody, this is Don Derwin, and I was working on my truck and I almost forgot to make a video. I was like, actually I've been trying to do this since 6 o'clock this morning, just well, because I just one thing led to another, and I had to unload the truck and all this and everything else. But anyway, this is my tie rod here, and you can see that it's broke. But there's actually two pieces. There's this is the one part. This is the other part. The part that broke. And then what I did is I just I tried to use a wrench to get the nuts off, but well, I used this trusty little Dremel. This thing, it's a grinding wheel. I bought it for like 50 bucks. We're Home Depot a while back to fix my guitar, to bring down the action on it. Boy, man, I never have ever regretted buying this thing, man. This thing comes in handy. And what I did is I just grinded off these oh, there it is. Grinding up those bolts. One bolt there, and then that was attached to that, and I just used this this thing, the chisel and a hammer, and pounding it right out, and I got it working. And this master blaster or blaster. This stuff over at the college, the instructor said when I was a student over there, he said this is the best stuff to use. It's really stinky, but it does work. I mean, I can admit that it does work. So anyway, what happened was I was hauling a bunch of wood in my truck. Because I'm building a house over here, and seeing this thing is independent with the other one. I can't turn it out. I don't know why I can't. Oh, see here, see, that's what turns the wheel. But I don't know, it's kind of a real hectic day. I tried to have a nice day building my house over here. And I had this all filled up with plywood, but I emptied it out. And I had this truck full. I had like 11 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood, 4x8, and I mean, I've had more in that truck before. I never had a problem with it. But so I had all that, and plus this one. This is one treated one that's 3/4. I had to take back that other one because it's 5/8. They gave me a 5/8. It's supposed to be 3/4. But anyway, this is all that I was carrying, which is not a super lot. I've carried more with that truck before. But anyway, I pulled it into the driveway, or to back up, and last night at like 10 o'clock, and I still didn't even sleep yet, just trying to work. But and this next day, and stayed up all night working on my house too. But I went and tried to back up in my driveway with the load of wood, and I turned the wheel, and it's like it wouldn't go backwards. I'm like, what's going on? I didn't know it was night and I couldn't see nothing. And so I tried backing up again. It's like, what? I can't. And I'm like, I don't know what the heck was going on. I didn't take a look at it with the flashlight or anything. But then I said I was able to drive forward a little bit, and then I tried to turn around the street to try to pull in forward instead of backing in, and I turned the wheel, and I'm like, my wheel's not moving. I'm like turning the steering wheel, my driver's side wheel's not moving. And so I took a flashlight and seen that the tie rod was broke. And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll call it tow truck. But my car is in the middle of the road, so I got it to a point where it would just be kind of in the road a little bit. I mean, so people would be able to get by me. And I was in the house for like, 10 minutes, maybe 15 at the most, trying to get somebody to tow my truck. And I couldn't get nobody to tow my truck. And I go out there, finally I found somebody to tow my truck. And then the cops are out there with the tow trucks taking my truck. They're going to impound it somewhere, you know. I'm like, wait a second, hey, that's my truck. And then they're trying to say, oh, you were drunk, you're doing this. You smashed into the side here, into the side of the thing there. Looks like you crashed at a high speed. And I'm like, what? And crashed? I couldn't even steer. How could I crash? How could I steer, you know? But anyway, it was a joke. And trying to say I was drinking and stuff, you know, I'm like, no, I'm not drinking. I don't drink. You know, I used to drink, but not no more. But anyway, you know, I mean, so I'm freaking out. You know, I need to build my house here. Actually, I wouldn't mind showing this. I should, you know, showing this. I've been doing this thing for a long time. But I'm trying to get all this stuff done before it rains, because I got all this wood. I got to replace all that wood on top of there. And I was trying to get all this stuff done, you know, because it all rotted, so I got to put new plywood down. I had the oriented strand board down, and it's got rotted because I went to the Philippines for a couple years, and I don't know, got to replace it. But anyway, it's a job. But anyway, I finally made some progress. I never worked on a tie rod before here on my truck. But my cousin Jay was over here, and he was like saying, he says, hey, why don't you just, you know, because I went to AutoZone. This is the part. This is the part that failed. It's hard to see. I wish I could. Yeah, this is the part that these bolts are, and see these bolts. So one screws on one end of the tie rod. There's threads on the inside. Then the other side screws on the other tie rod. Then this is steel here, like this. And that's what that is. The thing that's broke right there. That thing. It's all rusted out. It broke, and both of them broke. They were both broke like that. That's where it broke. And so my cousin Jay was like saying, you know, because I went and I was gonna just, you know, go gung ho and just take out my I can't know what you can see. And you know, pull out my tie rod puller thing. You know, I got this. I got grease. I mean, I had grease already, grease gun, but I bought that, and you know, tie rod puller or pounder inner or whatever, and I don't know, it's in the book too, but the book, I don't want to read it now. I'm too tired. But I did read that a little bit. But don't tell you much. But what I done was, and so now I'm at the point where I can, because what I was going to do is replace the whole ball joint, which is not the ball joint, the thing, the tie rod ends. That thing. You can see those things right there. God, I wish too much, you know, like this thing. Oh. Here it looks like this. This is the inner, and I didn't know, but they got inner and outer. This is the inner one, because I know the blue stuff has the inner on it, and it has that this nut, the castellated nut where you stick a cotter key through. Now that's the one that's the inner. It's really hard to tell them apart, so don't mix them up. I had them mixed up at the beginning, but I kind of figured out. Yeah, I gotta put this back in there. Kind of had to figure out what was what, and you know, because one goes in here. Actually, it's the first time I did this on this truck. And this is all the way off. I unscrewed this. I only put that on there after I unscrewed it all the way. And see, there's threads on there. But my cousin Jay was over here, and he was like saying, hey, you know, those threads are still good on there, you know. Even though they look all rusty, because they're, He's like saying just because they're all rusty doesn't mean they're not good. But I used that penetrating oil and turned the thing backwards, forward, backwards, forward. You know, probably about 45 minutes or half an hour. Turn it on, turn it off. Get it all really dripping with that stuff. You know, both of them, you know. It was really hard to get it to turn first. But this bottom one, that was kind of easy. Because I took the wheel off too, and it's a lot easier to take the wheel off. At first I didn't have the wheel off. But then the book said take the wheel off, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. I was going to anyway, but the thing that I had a problem with was on this one is getting some leverage to work on it. You know, to turn it, because I just took the Dremel and I got that off, and I just got the vice grips around here, you know. Got this thing off. You can't even see that. You know, I got that thing off. I got the bolt off first. Then I pounded out the bolt. Or I got the nut off first, then the bolt. Then I got that thing off. This looks like things that you like on a bicycle for somebody's handlebars or something. But that's all that kind of is. And what I done was, and it's hard to get the to get it moving, because then you just take a vice grip and start turning it. You know, it's like a nut. And I found it's better to grab it with the open end. It's better to grab it like that. I mean, with the part that's open. You see, like, you know, not really dented like that, but like that. Because it tends to, I think it tends to open it up a little. The other way, if you grab it the other place, it seems to make it tighter and it harder to get off. But yeah, it's kind of rough, you know. The one, I didn't think I was going to do it, but maybe after, then I started hitting it. Then I went and I couldn't get any leverage. Here I can get leverage, here on this one, because I used the wheel here for leverage, because I couldn't get any leverage to do it, because this thing turns, you know. And I couldn't get any leverage, so I leveraged it up against my my brake. My brakes are, I have to spray them with brake cleaner, they're all full of oil. But I couldn't get leverage, you know. Finally I figured that out. But this last one, I was having trouble with it. And I'm like, it's taking me for a while. I'm like, what the heck? So finally, I decided, you know what? Why don't I get a piece of wood? Because I was trying to turn this thing. I was trying to turn it, and all the thing was doing was going down. It was going down, and I could not get any leverage on it. Because when you turn it down, it just goes down. It's like, you know, what you're supposed to leverage on it. Then it was all the way down here, so I couldn't even turn the damn thing. So I'm like, hey, you know what? I started looking at it after a while. I was like, yeah, I'm not making much progress after like 20 minutes or half an hour or something. Like, it's not working what I'm doing. And so I'm like, oh, why don't I put a 2x4 here? So I went and got a 2x4 that had, you know, I'm like, oh no, that's not high enough. You know, because see it's like too low. Oh, okay. Oh my god, that's too low. So then I got a 2x6. I'm like, oh, well, first then I tried to think 2 like this, but here, like that. I'm like, forget it. And so I'm like, oh man, I gotta have a 2x6 here. So I grabbed the 2x6 and I wedged it up into the top there like that. Those mosquitoes are coming after me. I can't stand them. But I wedged it up here into the top. You know, so then I could grab my pliers around here and then turn it and pull it down, you know, because then I could use all my weight and really turn it, you know. And so that's how I got the thing moving. I mean, it took me a while to get it going. That was kind of really hard to do. But just keep on spraying this Master Blast. I must have used at least a half a can on this one project alone. But I just kept on spraying more and more and more, and it finally got off. But and I'm like, hey, I should make a video. So I made a video. I'm making it. So that's the one that was broke. But anyway, and another thing too, I learned that you know, even though the one wheel is not turning, you do have some control over the wheel, because the other side is still connected. So you still have one drive wheel that you can steer, but this one will kind of just follow along. Hopefully. But maybe not so well. But you know, the guy at the tow truck saying, he was like saying that you can drive it with one. You got one wheel that steers, right? I guess he's right. And so I suppose you do have a little bit of control. I mean, you do have some control over it. But so I'm gonna take the, and this is the outer one. I might as well open it up and look at. Oh, and then measure it too. Then you gotta do a wheel alignment, you know. But that's that hopefully you won't have to do, or I won't have to do, because you gotta take measurements of a thing. This is the outer one. This is the one that goes right here. This is the outer one. See, this one doesn't have the cotter key. That's really about the only difference. Well, plus this is longer. This part's longer. The other one, it's shorter. You know, I mean, the other one, this part is shorter. This one is longer. I mean, it's longer. The other one, it's shorter. So that's how I was able to tell them apart. But I bring those back to AutoZone. But it says to oh yeah, I suppose I should get the book. It says to take measurements. This I wasn't aware of. I mean, I was aware of some of it, but it said take measurements. This is what mine were. So I from the middle, mine was 5.5 to there, and this one I measured it in a couple places, but it was like 5 3/8, but then 5.5 when I measured on outside of the bolt. So but here I'll try to find the instructions here that says to measure. Yeah, I guess the book did help me a little bit. It says here. This is what it says here. Measure the distance and see like that. Because you gotta have your wheels on here. There's something to do with that. I'll have to look at that later. I put the other one on. Oh, that's when you tighten it. Okay, that's what that is. But I just got some advice from other people, and I'm glad my Jay he said try this rather than knocking the tie rod ends out. But here they use a different type of thing. I don't have that one. I was doing this on one of my last videos, and I was looking at the video later, and I pointed my camera towards the wrong procedure. This is one part. Sorry. But that's yeah, I've never done a tie rod on this before. This is the first time. But I think it's. I mean, I'm not gonna do the whole thing. I'm just going to put that part on. The part that's like gonna cost $13. Just that one part. Take those other two parts back to AutoZone. I'll keep that tie rod puller. But I don't need the parts anymore, hopefully. Yeah, I know, of course I don't. Yeah, because my cousin Jay's like saying, he says, yeah, those are solid steel. Those are good. But I think that's it. That's going into somewhere else. But anyway, I didn't complete it yet, but this was the hardest part. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna screw it. And what you do is you screw, like you screw one side in too far. That's Jay said. You screw one side in too far, and then you unscrew it. As you're unscrewing it, you screw it into the other one. So I guess you gotta play with, figure out how to do that, and that's probably gonna take a while to figure out exactly how to get it right at the proper length. You know, but me, I also measured from 15.5 inches from the outer tie rod zerk to the inner tie rod bolt on the inside. Here you can see that. And also over at the AutoZone, he said, well, Trevor from Rhineland AutoZone, he's the manager guy, but he's like saying, just put the wheel together, and even though it's broke apart, just put it together and then measure that distance. Even though it's broke, just put it together to try and put it to where it was before, so you know about where it was, you know, when you put it back together, because otherwise your wheels will be out of alignment, you know, your toe alignment. Yeah, and I'm sure it's not going to be perfect, you know, but like saying, this might be a little, if it's not perfect, it might have some tire wear or something like that, but I guess, you know, if you want perfect, let somebody else do it. But anyway, you know, so just take some measurement. He said it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, you know, just close. The 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch, you know. But so anyway, all right. Made the video, and I hope you liked the video. And thanks. Oh, gee. And thanks for watching, and hope you liked the video and the tour of my house. And one of these days I'm gonna get it built. Should make a video on building my house there. But anyway, that's the tie rod tie rod replacement thing. Try that if anybody, if it helped it. Yeah, it got, yeah, I think it'll work. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'm gonna try and get this thing back together again so I could go buy some more wood so I could finish my house here before it rains. So anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe and like, thumbs up. So this old truck without steering. So anyway, thanks for watching. Okay, bye. Hi everybody, this is Don Derwin. Yeah, I noticed that my bolts are kind of, one was supposed to be one way, one was the other way. But quite honestly, I don't care. I don't think that's really gonna matter. But I mean, when I took it off, they were both the same way. But now this was, I don't know, it took me 3 hours to get this far. After I thought I was home free there. But what I did learn here is, you know, when I was putting this one on here, it was hard to put on because the threads were the old threads, and this is a new here, and I was having trouble getting the threads on. I didn't know which way to turn it, like to turn it righty-tighty or lefty-loosey. Because this one over here is like left-handed threads, and this over here says right-handed threads. But I just tightened the heck out of these things as much as I possibly could, or as much as I felt like, you know, is safe, that makes sure they're not going to fly off. But anyway, here, this was very, very, very confusing about how to get it right. But anyway, I put that on, so righty-tighty is this one here. Right to tighten and left loosen. And so what I had done is I got it about 4 inches. Instead of 5.5 inches, I went 4 inches. You know, so then the thought being is when I screwed in 1.5 inches, the other side would be 1.5 inches in also. And so that's why I did 4 inches. You know, I put the whole bar in 4 inches all the way, you know, all the way like up to here it went. You know, it went like all the way up to here, past the threads, you know, all the way to here, which I was surprised. But you have to, because otherwise you're not going to get it into here. But and another thing too, which was really baffling me is when, and I've never done this before, and it's essentially an alignment, you know, because you're doing your toe alignment, and when I turn it, like, you know, this, when I turn it here, and when I turn it here, it would go in a ways, and then when I would turn it here and go the other way, like this here, it would come up with a different reading. And so I mean I messed with this probably like 150 times to but I noticed that if I did it here, you know, for a while, and then if I did it here for, you know, if I did it here for a while, and then did it here for a while, it was a different reading. Then I did it here for a while, it was a different reading. And here, I mean, I was just like, what? And so I'm just like saying, I'm like, what? I don't understand what was going on. But I think what's going on is when you try to turn it here, it skips threads. I mean, it skips threads. It's made to skip threads, because otherwise you would never be able to adjust it. So I think if you're turning here, it's pushing more and it's skipping threads here. And if you push here and turn here, it's skipping threads down here, and it's turning the threads here. That's my only thought after doing this for 3 hours. But I guess these readings are pretty important. All of them are, because I'll try to show you where I was taking a reading. But I measured 15 and a half zerk to the bolt inside. Now, right now it's, oh, here, 15 and a half to the zerk fitting to the bolt inside. That's in the center of the bolt. But right now it's right on the money. I mean, it's right there, because before the wheel was like way out this way. I'm like, what the heck? You know, I mean, it was obviously very crooked. I mean, but I kept on messing with it, and sooner or later it started to look good, and now it looks good because I had the tire. And two, I had the before I put the tire on, because I was trying to, okay, and then after I got this at the right inches, I tried to screw it into here. It's like, in other words, I'm taking it away from here. It's like I'm loosening this, but this is tightening over here. So I'm loosening here, but it's tightening over here because the threads are reversed. And I don't know if the threads are reversed, but the direction is reversed. So what ended up happening was I had no tire on here, and then so what happened with the tire, it was moving like this, and then after like 5 to 10 minutes, I'm like, what? It looked like this thing is turning. You know, it's like here, it's like way over here like this. It's like it's turning in a turn. Another wheel's straight. I'm like, what? I'm like, that ain't right. So I did it all the way back up again to here. And then this time I put the tire on it. And then I put some weight on the truck. You know, because I thought maybe I was possibly, yeah, this was just pushing it because there's nothing to hold it back. And there's nothing to, you know, stop it from going this way. So I put some weight on it with the truck, and finally it started to thread in here, this direction. But then after a while too, even though I had weight on the truck, the wheel would still turn when I was still adjusting it here and here. And I've been adjusting it like it's like if you got it, you're lucky, you know. It's like sometimes it was just right on, because I made sure all three were like this one was 5.5 from this center to here, to the edge here. And right now that's like within a 1/16. And then here, 5.5, that's like within a 1/16. They're both off just a little bit in the same amount of space. Yeah, I mean the same amount of, you know, compensation. So I'm like, hey, I got that measurement. I'm like perfect, because this was the measurement that I had when I first started, and these were, you know, pretty good. But I'll try and show you what I was measuring. But yeah, it's a little confusing there, but too, and I think it, well, it said in the book there. I'll try and because I mean I never done this before. It's just kind of hard. I don't know if I can do this or not. Oh, I don't have any safety things. I'm gonna get smushed. I took the wheel off. I'm gonna get killed making a video. As I put my block underneath there. So just in case. Fell. But yeah, I found out that, you know, those measurements, not for those measurements that I took earlier, where's my, if it wasn't for those measurements that I took earlier, I would not have known where to go. But I don't know if I can do this or not. But I'll try and show the measurement that I was yeah, I don't know if I can do this here. Well, maybe not. Where's my finger? Oh, here, this measurement here. I was measuring from here, then all the way over to, oh no, you can't see because this is this Zerk fitting here. This Zerk fitting here. So I measured that. That was 15 and a half. Well, here, maybe I could get better here. I don't know, I can't really do this. Let's see, so I just took this tape measure and put it in the, you know, like right in the center of that Zerk fitting there. And then I went all the way over to here and got it 15 and a half. 15 and well, you can't see because of my thumb. And I got it 15 and a half. Right to that that's the inner tie rod right there. Because Trevor, he said, you know, do that. You know, he's the one who told me to do that. And it didn't say to do that in the book. But I found that to be, you know, actually really helpful, because when it was broke, I didn't know where it was supposed to be because it was broke off. And then the book, they say to measure, which is equally important, I suppose. Make it like I was measuring 5.5 from this Zerk fitting. Oh, well, I was measuring from 5.5 to that Zerk fitting. There, 5.5. I mean, it's like a 16th off, but or an eighth or something, but not very much. But then I was measuring. But the thing is, which I didn't really care about that too much. I mean, I didn't try to drive it yet, but this one, I was measuring to the oh, I can probably get this. I was measuring from the outside. Oh, yeah. From the outside of that screw right there, to make it easy, and then I was measured 5.5. Lights the wrong direction there. Hard to do. So I was looking back here. Well, actually, you know what? It's a little I wonder if something, oh, maybe something moved because I had the tire on there before. Yeah, it moved something a little bit. But I had that 5.5 to there. It's a little bit different now. But I had the tire on it before. I wonder if that would make a difference. But yeah, this is, I can't even, because it's like 5.5. I don't know, just because of the well, maybe here you can see how. Oh, there, maybe 5.5 I had there. You can kind of see it, but it's like 1/8 of an inch different now because I had the tire on it. But it looks, the wheel looks straight now. I mean, when it was on there, so I'm gonna. Oh, I don't know, maybe that's why I couldn't see nothing. It was all zoomed in. But, yeah, because I had the tape measure. Oh, whatever. Oh, whatever, you still can't see nothing. But, you get my point. But everything looks good now. I didn't drive it yet, but if I see anything bad or anything, I'll make it in the next video. But as far as I'm concerned, I think this is finished, and I'm gonna I wiped off the wheel. I mean the brake. And I'm going to go try to drive it around for a little bit and see how it drives. And I hope that works. And to me, I think it's going to work. But it took me like 3 hours to, maybe even 3.5 hours to get it to where I finally got it right. You know, I mean, I finally got it, and I'm like, whoa, stop, tighten everything up. But when I took the wheel off, I guess it changed things a little bit. But anyway, it's my video about the tie rod, and I hope you liked the video. And thanks for watching this. It's a 1990 Chevy Silverado. I didn't say that before, but that was definitely a job, I tell you. So anyway, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Okay, bye.